Boys and girls, hosses and hossettes, welcome back to the greatest BS tier gun tube channel this side of the Mississippi. Baby, space magic, it's back on the menu. Sauerkraut and Reubens, dunkels and pretzels, carbines and 5.56, lawsuits in barrels, going more flaccid than your grandpappy after bingo with a bottle of wine in his belly. Bro, what in the 7% hit rate past 100 meters is going on here? Well, friends, you are going to learn today about old Soap McTavish and his choice of rifle and the most drama surrounded a firearm probably in recent history, the G36c. Baby, it is a spicy one here, so buckle up. These wiener schnitzel licking fingers are fully torqued. Harder than a tactical flat dark earth Toyota Tacoma with a Punisher skull all across the windshield. A gun more hyped up than a PSA owner who just got approved for 69% Cordova financing. No, he got the Jackal. He went to Jackal. He went to Jackal. This message is not brought to you by PSA. I can promise you that. Gentlemen, the hit marker Machine, the just as good 416, the gun HK wants you to forget about. Guys, we know the internet never forgets the German Heckler and Koch G36c. So, friends, grab a chair, a pretzel with some cheese, and lend me an ear. We are taking a trip down memory lane to the most nostalgic time of our lives. Yes, that's right, because we easily peaked as a society in 07, 08.
50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
The OG COD, Modern Warfare, was coming out. World at War, Halo 3, easily the greatest of the entire series, by the way. COD 4, followed by World at War, of course. But really, let's talk about how this thing was even devised, why it exists, how it came about. So, in the early 90s, it had become apparent to the German high command that the old G3 and its variants just weren't buttering their brats anymore. So they realized, they said, hey, we need a newer, more modern take on domain infantry carbines. The G3, it was heavy, it was long, it was ergonomically kind of a nightmare. Not to mention, 7.62, while it does have manageable recoil, well, it's not always the most pleasant to shoot, and it's kind of expensive to feed. There were some 5.56 variants of the G3, but they had all come and gone. Again, because, well, awful ergonomics, reliability, and, well, the rather expensive cost to produce those old roller lock guns. By 1995, HK had finished their prototype of the G36, dubbed the HK50 during its trials. Now, initial ratings of this gun, they were very high and significantly higher than all of the other G3 variants. It seemed, well, to hold up pretty good with far greater user-friendly ergonomics, not to mention it's chambered in a very familiar, very soft shooting 5.56. It even whooped up on the AUG in the trials, and, well, bingo, bango, bongo, the Wiener Schnitzel sandwich was born, the G36c. Shoot, we even had an elite special forces group, TF-23, made a purchase of these guns, the G36, so it had the attention of some big players at that time. That, or we were just bored because we weren't in perpetual war at that moment. I mean, we probably were, we just don't know about it, but I don't know, wanted to try something new regardless. Germany's Bundeswehr, Bundeswehr, Gorlami, whatever, I think that's how it's pronounced. You guys will correct me. They adopted the rifle and ordered 33,000 of these things, and they were finally delivered to NATO's QRF, Quick Reaction Force, by 1997. In 1998, Spain did even pick this thing up. But what I find most interesting about this gun that never could was it took nearly another 14 years after the initial G36 guns were delivered that issues just came to arise. In 2012, reports started to come in. NATO forces in Afghanistan were using that gun, and it was basically becoming, well, a brick in combat. Well, I guess not necessarily a brick, but a very expensive noisemaker at best. What was happening in these guns is they were getting hot in firefights, like all guns do. And when guns get hot, well, that's when things seem to go south. Now, a large part of what makes a gun great is their ability to run hot and run in the most extreme and severe and adverse conditions and just keep on running. What troops were finding was that no matter how well they maintained these weapons, G36 GATs just do be lacking. So first things first, guys, they are having serious accuracy issues out of these guns. Reports were flying in that these guns, I'm not kidding you, were becoming minute of a barn at 100 meters. By 200 meters, the official term was ineffective past this, meaning it might land around close in a mag, but get this, at 300 meters, it was literally termed, and I quote, incapable of effective fire past 300 meters. Now, if you've done literally any shooting, you guys will know that hitting a man-sized target at 300 meters is not exactly a difficult feat. You basically need to shoot like 5 MOA to get more than 75% rounds on target at 300 meters. That's roughly 16-inch shot group, but these guys were saying that it's literally ineffective beyond 200 meters. Bro, pick up some rocks, pick up some sticks. The Pilgrims had more accurate guns than this. So, what gives? What was going on with HK and the G36 this time? Well, first off, the initial and official response was by the German government, let it cool between rapid firing strings. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that works, but I would be willing to bet the bad guys are totally going to let you guys have that tea break and while your fancy little guns from HK cool down so they can get back in the firefight in 5-10 minutes. Yeah, okay, I'm sure. But the official investigation was that ammo was junk and the jackets were too thin, coming apart, whatever, and just a whole bunch of other bull crap. Folks with a brain that know anything about ballistics, the significant disadvantage to what is essentially an entirely plastic gun is just that. The polymer, it droops when it gets heavy, along with that free-floating, kind of pencil-thin barrel. They found, guys, when these guns would get hot, they would have a whopping 7% hit chance at 100 meters and beyond that. Bro, 7%. 7%. I can make more hits with a 9mm handgun at 100 meters than a hot G36c.
Little 100-yard shot. Let's see what we can do.
No cap, for real on God, all the Riz. Thanks, Gen Z. I mean, is a hot barrel going to open up shot groups? Yes, absolutely. When the guns get hot, they just don't group as well as they do when they're, you know, not necessarily being baby, but shooting with some good time in between them. But is it going to cause bullet jackets to just explode and unravel like they claimed? No, but that's what Germany's own daddy government declared. Let's be real here, guys. Somebody's pockets were getting lined here to shut up and just find a scapegoat. But, I mean, on the real side, that barrel, it was going a little more flaccid than old Grandpappy after bingo night on a bottle of wine. I mean, let's be real. So not only was this barrel just kind of drooping because it's getting hot, it's also whipping into that handguard that's also sagging into it and just flopping around like a beach premium whitefish tilapia, bro. Like, not to mention, the lack of an ejection port cover didn't help with the overall reliability of the weapon either, especially when you're talking about the moon dust sands of Afghanistan. So, just a lot of disaster. But by the mid-2010s, Germany had dropped the G36c, sued HK, and reintroduced the god-awful Volkswagen Beetlebug. Like, what's going on over there? Then they went and picked up and adopted an HK 416 clone produced by Hanel, I can't remember exactly how it's pronounced, however you say it, only to turn right around and sue them for infringing on HK's patents, only to drop the case and officially adopt it. What in the every single light in the dashes on oil leaking Audi do we have going on over there? Cheese and rice, Lord have mercy. What's a guy got to do in the Bundeswehr just to get a gun like that has no drama around it? Now, guys, I think they've got this mess sorted out by now, but phew, what a ride it's been. Now, you asked me, what's my take on this gun? Well, it's god awful, bro. Okay, first of all, it's a piston gun. Trash. You'll stay trying too hard to stray away from Eugene Stoner, and look what happens. Hot garbage that shares the same operon and piston system as the 416, which has pretty much been dumped by all U.S. forces by now. There's a couple units left with them, but for the most part, they're gone. It's thump of that rubber mallet in your cheek, kind of recoil impulse, and it's just pretty much the worst 5.56 gun I've ever shot. The trigger, it's sloppy, it's gritty. It takes proprietary mags unless you get this fancy insert. It's grossly overgassed with even a pressure-reducing BNT can. Oh, and did I mention, guys, it's all plastic. How neat is that? What you have here essentially is like a space gun-looking AR-18. And let's be real here, guys. Eugene Stoner said, nah, I'm good on all that nearly 3 decades before the G36 was born. But is it hot? I mean, yeah. Yeah, G36C is hot. I mean, it's a nostalgic kind of gun. Not because it's won a bunch of wars or anything, but literally because all of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series, Captain Price and the homies were always rocking a G36. One of them was. And shoot, I'd run one too online every once in a while. 1v1 me, bro. Shipment. Rust. Let's go. But I digress, friends. After it's all said and done, we have yet again a really neat but kind of garbage platform from the German company HK. But hey, I'm not gonna lie, if they brought a 1-to-1 clone over of this thing here to the States, not that garbage SL8 monstrosity, whatever that thing is, if they brought over a 1-to-1 friend, I'll be the first in line. And because, hey, not all guns have to be this like life and death, like, oh my God, my life's gotta depend on this one single weapon. Obviously, everybody needs their one good general purpose carbine 1000% squared away and ready to go at a moment's notice, because it's your right, King. Flex on these Euro trash countries that want to disarm the world. Oi, mate! Okay, I've met some base homies across the pond. I'd one on my team 8 days a week, but I digress. It's just the G36C, guys. It's a very interesting platform, and it makes sense why it has flopped so hard. In no way, shape, or form could I ever recommend this to be the gun that you rely your life on. You know, that gun that say, hey, I'm going to war, whatever, protect your farm, protect your family, whatever it is. This is the first gun I would choose. In fact, it's probably one of the last. That doesn't mean, you know, you can't own it and still have a ton of fun with it. I have tons of guns that are just stupid fun guns, and that's what this is. But you know, also I get why people want to have a gun and be like, no, my life's got to rely on it. This thing has to be dead nuts reliable. It can't have a 7% hit rate past 100 meters. I get that. I am on your team. But, you know, again, it's okay to own some guns that are just kind of goofy and kind of fun. And there's hardly a more goofy and more fun and more nostalgic gun than the G36C, especially if you played them COD series. So, guys, I believe that is a wrap on the G36. We are signing out here. So remember, and say it with me, run your gun and not your mouth, and we will catch you next time.